It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. I was in Queens County Court this morning, so I missed the morning channel to see the BS news. So now it mentioned something about a college, not like a King's College, not like a Cambridge for university, none of those. It is like burgers and fries and Ivy League won't even, like, Ivy League is like up here and Rutgers is wishy-washy, like whatever, in that league of colleges. So which gets me in trouble, but I really don't give a crap because of the way that this was run. It's got something called a financial aid program. It's got something called a Scarlet guarantee. Now, here's an interesting thing. It says the word scar, and then it says let. It also is embossed with a 1766, which runs into my Jason Peter problem of 1976 in universal prowess of when you get the storyline wrong, the trajectory is off, the symbols are everywhere. Why am I at 43 still in the wrong spot? Just curious. Wizards and warlocks. So now, because it says here, and then it's got 3 stars over here, so that's a problem. It also has first, second, whatever this is. These things, these financial packages and programs, they don't offer them in New York. This is something specific to members that go to Rutgers somewhere in this United States program. It also says Garden State Guarantee. That's interesting. So if you don't want other people to know how your garden grows, why are you letting foundation kids and kids with ties to elsewhere through sports teams or whatever, or international programs, why are you allowing them into the Garden State and teaching them that they might qualify for a Garden State Guarantee, whatever that might look like? May cover full tuition, whatever. Okay, so here we are in just one of them. Now, I have a personal story, of course I do, with Rutgers. Through the Imperial Manor waitress job, where I met some of you humans that booked gigs just so you could see me in a 3-piece button-up shirt with a black vest and black pants, waitressing, like for real, during weddings or a retirement party was one of them. I had a carpal tunnel brace on my wrist at that point because my wrist was starting to get affected by whatever was going on at that time, whatever college I was at. But Lynn Lackner invited me one weekend to go visit her brother. And he went to Rutgers in Jersey. And so I went to that campus and I have no memory of it. I have no idea. This is like the scary part of my life. I know we went to visit him, but I have no memory of the people that we met, what we discussed, and what happened thereafter. All I know is I'm in year 43. The symbols and whatnot are there of the problem. And there was a whole lot of real itemized, televised on the teleprompter events that supposedly happened as I went through. I mean, I know who they announced as the presidents of the United States as I went through. One of them is what I'm unclear of, why everybody would purposely hurt me and push for that specific outcome. And just so we're aware, it feels almost like level in yesterday I saw the methane methane gas cloud is what the mentalists are scared of. For me, I got some of my stars back in the night sky, even though I lost them completely. So I don't know where we're floating out in the middle of with being a movable surface. Amongst other scary things. So here we are in. Oh wait, this is a different. Oh wait, hold on.
The landlord says his family had just. Very different from what we had yesterday, where we were looking at bright sunny skies. We've got cloudy skies. Currently 40 degrees, so still very mild in Central Park. Winds right now out of the northeast at 7 miles an hour. Temperatures are above freezing for most of the area, and in fact, a number of locations are in the low 40s, on our way to high temperatures in the 50s. But as you take a look at your satellite radar, you can also see that all this rain is heading our way, so you will need that umbrella as you head out the door. Cloudy skies today, but mild temperatures, 56 degrees, the forecast.
Now, it says on the television, it talks of some new residents, I suppose. It mentions the territory that they were relocated from, I suppose. A car wound up hitting into their store. He had just switched insurance companies, so now they're not sure if the insurance company will cover this stuff, but it almost feels like a scheme and schematic and slimy, in the sense of not necessarily just these people, because I have heard that other people are whatever, but I just find it, if the building is in disrepair, they put in these insurance claims and then they get like a total rehab. I mean, again, I'm not wired for this. I mean, I can see it. I'm not making this okay. This is part of the problem. From where I am at toiletries, in the toilet paper section of, So, here's what
The Pakistani businesses in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn are asking for help from the community.
Wait, I think I missed it.
Police say that
bad boy of tech, and why he's very cautious about social media in his own life. He's got 2 little guys at home. You're watching CBS Mornings. We always appreciate that. Your local news is coming right up.
now tourists come and stare at us.
There's the date.
Good morning, 8:25 on this Tuesday, February 22nd. A mild morning, but the wind and showers are moving in. I'm Mary Calvi. Elise Finch will have your first alert forecast coming up. But first, a mess left behind in the city after a car crash into scaffolding. It happened around 2 a.m. near East 52nd Street and First Avenue. Police say the 21-year-old driver hit the gas instead of the brake. She was issued a summons for not having a
Now, that was at 56 and First. I'm not a big fan of Manhattan. It's not my cup of tea. But it is an integer and an integral part of the invisibility of the irrational. Just saying.
having a license. The owners of several Yemeni and Pakistani businesses in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn are asking for help from the community after a fire that left them struggling to survive. The February 7th fire at an abandoned building on Gates Avenue spread to nearby businesses on Nostrand Avenue. 2 people were killed. The department
Gates and Nostrum. Henri Lossier.
The Department of Buildings has ordered the businesses and those in the apartments above to vacate. They'll have to repair the damage before they can return.
See, now, I did a real public health issue today at the courthouse, at the criminal courthouse. This, to me, is, while perhaps it's public safety and perhaps it's public health, there's other larger issues going on that have still been totally unaddressed, me being one of them, for the last 43 years, with a few visitations, but not nearly what I am deserving of. So it gets a little dicey with where expectations lie of the humans. And then there's something called Hunan, I mean,
tens of thousands without a doubt. Just the restaurant equipment alone is going to be like at least 20, 30,000, something like that. The structural damage, I mean, could balloon the cost a lot. It's hard to estimate.
We have a bleak future. Now the restaurant is closed, so there's nothing.
now it's interesting. I ran in the day that guy that Tiafrio 1975 knew, that when he invited me into Manhattan in some, I would call it Blackwater operation, but what do I really know? I have no confirmation on that. But that weekend, it's like one random, like, let's go to Manhattan and stay in the Hyatt. So there was, while Nick was on the floor convulsing with nobody knew what, he was just having a seizure. And of course, I don't know this person. I don't know if he has a pattern of seizures. I've just met him. While he's on the floor convulsing, and I'm calling the ambulance, and I have my fingers up, like, I mean, it looked like, it's just track signaling to protect myself from you humans. While I'm on the phone with 911, and I said, do me a favor. I said, I give him some whatever on my 911 call, just to vet who I was. So, in this confusing endeavor, I'm like, just please stay on the phone with me, because whatever. And so he did. When I got off, and Delicato showed up from Port Authority, and the ambulance was there. There was a gentleman that looked like this, looked very similar. I know it's not the same man, but it looked very similar. He was counting wood rosary beads, whatever that signifies. He said he was Catholic, and he said I looked Dominican. I was like, all right, again, I am not going to argue with a human. There's no reason to. He was not saying it in an aggressive manner. I just don't know if he was confused as to who he is and who I am, or if he was trying to send me a message. It gets a little confusing as to where do I stand and who am I to these people. So, just want to point that out, but here we are.
Nothing for our family to go on.
The landlord says his family had just switched insurance policies days before the fire may not be covered. A GoFundMe page has been started to help pay for the construction. Rutgers unveiled a new financial aid program for in-state students from lower-income families. The Scarlet Guarantee is for first and second-year students at the New Brunswick campus. It complements the Garden State Guarantee, a state program for third and fourth-year students. These programs fill the gap after other financial aid is provided. Those who qualify could pay zero tuition and fees or significantly reduced rates.
Now I'm just curious, is this leftover the aviation industry really screwed up the world, or is this part of this enhanced sports package where now we have to invest in other countries' kids and then all of a sudden find housing and employment for them while the infrastructure's like inner construction's not quite there and ready to hold all this weight everybody keeps shoveling in? I'm just curious. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. Oh, I'm going to pause this for a second and rewind because there was another important part on here this morning. Okay, now.
Following and turning now, though, to a new twist in a story we've been closely following here on CBS Mornings.
Now, I met one human in my entire life that talked of cryptocurrency. I refer to him in my cryptic method as JC #28. He knows who he is. He's like, how do you get a mid-size SUV inside of a helicopter? I have the answer to that one.
A surge in so-called romance scams. According to the FBI, there's a major new category of these scams, crypto dating scams, where fraudsters convince people to put their money into fake cryptocurrency investments. The analytics firm Chain Analysis says more than $7.7 billion was stolen in cryptocurrency fraud worldwide in 2021.
I wonder, with the sports leagues growing just as aggressive, it's like you give them a challenge, you give them a ball, and oh my God, it is like, yes! And they're wired differently than the zombies I'm used to. But what happens is, if going unchecked in checks and balances, we start to have all sorts of this fraud stuff coming up. And here's a depiction of the nucleus. Here's an outer layer, and then this is the envelope. Just saying, and now they're dating scams. Because what happens is there was one girl, believe it or not, her name's Nicole, no familial anything. She's apparently adopted by these people.